class. Today our group will be focusing on the relationship between educational attainment and personal income over time. Our team includes No Castillo, myself, Wilson Garcia, Michael Gavorian, Lena Kerapetian, and Annie Krotayan. The primary focus of our study is to examine whether a bachelor's degree or master's degree has remained financially advantageous over the past decade. We looked at the data between 2011 and 2013 to examine the labor market, economic conditions, and financial advantages over the past decade. Labor markets, economic conditions, and societal changes have impacted the returns of higher education. With rising tuition and debates around the value of the degree, this topic remains highly relevant today. Our project aims to analyze the personal income which has evolved for individuals with different education levels, bachelor's and postgraduate degrees over the past 2 years. Higher education continues to provide economic benefits, especially with major global events like COVID, which disrupted labor markets and accelerated shifts toward remote work and automation. We also considered long-term economic force factors like recovery from the Great Recession and the increasing influence of technology on job requirements. Beyond income growth, we examined if the perceived value of graduate degrees has shifted as businesses prioritize specialized skills over general academic credentials. Our key research question is how has a master's degree become more important for achieving higher income compared to just holding a bachelor's degree? We wanted to find out if investment in graduate education still pays off, especially given the rising cost of tuition and student debt. The objective is not only to inform individuals and students making career decisions, but also to provide educators designing programs and policymakers who are shaping workforce development initiatives. An additional layer to our research is whether actual content of education, meaning practical, specialized, and skills, outweighs the value of just holding a degree title. This distinction matters because employers are increasingly looking for candidates with job-ready competencies, not just diplomas. Thank you.
Background and motivation. So the motivation for our study comes from observing significant changes in the labor market over the past decade. Advancements in automation, artificial intelligence, and data-driven industries have redefined the skills needed in the workforce. High-skill, high-wage jobs in technology, finance, and healthcare continue to grow, while many traditional jobs are becoming obsolete or offer stagnant wages. At the same time, the COVID-19 pandemic further accelerated the shift towards remote work and digital transformation, forcing workers to adapt to new environments. This raises critical questions. Is a master's degree still a reliable path to upward mobility, or are there better, more efficient ways to gain the necessary skills for today's economy? Our research seeks to address these questions using empirical data. Global events accelerated the digital economy, reshaping workforce needs and influencing the value of different educational levels. So, based on existing literature and economic theory, we hypothesized two main outcomes. First, the overall personal income in 2023 would be higher than in 1980, even after adjusting for inflation, due to economic growth and productivity gains. Second, we predicted that the income gap between those with higher education, especially master's degree holders, and those with lower levels of education would have widened. We believe this gap is driven by increasing specialization in the job market, where advanced degrees serve as a signal for higher skills and capabilities. However, we also considered that this effect might vary across industries and regions. For example, a master's degree in STEM fields might offer a higher return than one in humanities. Testing this hypothesis allows us to evaluate whether the education premium still holds in today's dynamic economic environment. So with the data and methodology, we used IPUM's data from 2011 to 2023. Our sample includes household heads aged between 20 to age 80, as they typically represent primary income earners. We analyze variables such as total personal income, educational level, age, gender, marital status, and race. Household weights were applied to ensure that our findings are representative of the broader population. We also made adjustments for income reporting inconsistencies across different years, ensuring that our comparisons were valid. One key aspect of our methodology was to run separate regressions for each year, allowing us to track changes in income trends over time. Hello, now it's Noe Castillo. I am here to talk about our summary statistics for our group project. Our summary statistics not only revealed several different important trends. The first one I'm going to be talking about is home ownership rates. The home ownership rates remain stable at around 65% between the years we selected from 2011 to 2023, which doesn't really mean too much. It just means that home ownership has been staying the same. The same amount of people are relatively owning a home today in 2023 as they were in 2011. Another one that we found out was that the average household head increases from age 47.8 years to 49.3 years, which reflects the demographic aging and delaying of the household formation, which basically means, in short, homeowners are older now in 2023 than they were in 2011. Another good stat that we found was a rise in college attainment, with the share of household heads holding a degree increasing from 32.6% to 38.4%, which is a good increase. Another good statistics we also found from this was the household income grew from $53,200 to $69,400 after we adjusted for inflation. Some demographic shifts that we seen was that we saw a slight decline in the proportion of white household heads and a small increase in black households. These shifts provide context for understanding income dynamics within the population, as well as these trends reflect demographic aging and rising education levels. Now I'm going to be talking about regression results. Our analysis showed that having a bachelor's degree increased income by approximately 81% compared to those without a degree, which is a significantly increase. 81% is a lot. Compared to now earning a master's degree, that only added an additional 37% more, which shows that yes, even though you're going to make more income, having a master's degree doesn't positively correlate the same as having a bachelor's degree. As well as we can confirm, as education positively does correlate with income. And like I said, the benefit of master's degree was smaller than we initially expected, as 37% is low compared to 81. Another positive was that age positively impacts income. So as a person is aging, they are making higher income well into their 40s and 50s, but the effect does diminish as people do get older. So as they're past their 50s, those numbers typically start to go down a bit again. One result that we did get was that gender disparities remain significant. Female household heads still earn less than their male counterparts, even when we did controlling for education. And though education boosts income, the extra benefit of a master's degree is smaller than expected, possibly due to saturation in some fields. Some racial disparities in income were also evident, highlighting persistent structural inequalities in the labor market. Even in 2023, you could still see that there was still some structural inequalities, how black people still struggled compared to their white counterfolk. While education does matter, other demographic factors continue to play a critical role. Now, in conclusion, our study confirms that higher education remains a key factor in achieving higher income. However, the return on investment for a master's degree is not as large as commonly perceived, especially in non technical fields, because, such as industry demand and labor market trends, those influence earnings more than degree level alone will. The labor market, an implication is that the labor market today values specific skills, certifications, and work experience over general academic credentials. With this, policymakers should rethink how educational programs are designed and funded to better align with labor market needs. With this, it'll help a lot of college graduates enter a field as they are now prepared better, as some of these jobs don't really care about education. Yes, it is a plus, but at the end of the day, they need to see skills, they need to see certifications. So hopefully, this is something that could change in the future. One thing that students could do better is emphasize the importance of targeting skill acquisitions, seeking out internships, and continuous learning beyond formal degrees. And while graduate education still holds value, it is no longer a guaranteed path to economic success without relevant skills to match. Master's degree provide benefits but are not a one size fits all solution in today's job market. And in this diagram you can see the different zones of education's effect on income. As zone 1 is more jobs that require just a high school diploma or GED certificate, and it gives you different jobs with average salaries in the US. But as you keep going up the zones, you can see as higher education can result sometimes in higher income. Like how I said earlier, it's not a one size fits all solution. And lastly, these are the references that we use to look for our data, gather our data, and be able to present it today, such as using IPUMS, using the U.S. Census Bureau, as well as using our own coding. So yeah, that was the end of this presentation, and thank you for your time.